Okay, we are at July 1st, 2030, mid-season trade deadline draft, etc. update. I didn't do the draft live this time or record it just because I figured, we're in our second to last season of the sim. The guys I'm drafting are not going to end up on my team. I drafted the first 5 rounds, and then I actually let my scout do the rest. So I'll show you the guys that I drafted, though, my first round pick and maybe some of the other guys. So we're 53 and 26. We are first overall in the majors. We're 7 games up on the second place Padres, which is pretty amazing because we just had a month where we went below 500 in June. We've been somewhat fortunate in that our plus 96 run differential is second best in the league. Pythagorean says we would be 51 and 28. We're 7 and 2 in extra innings, 19 and 11 in 1-run games. And yeah, so basically the story is the offense is terrible. My offense is really bad right now so far this year. You can see we're 12th in runs scored. We're 10th in OPS, 7th home runs, 2nd in walks. Our pitching and fielding is saving us. We're first in ERA. We're first in runs allowed, 2nd in defensive efficiency, 3rd in zone rating, 2nd in BABIP. So we went 18 and 7 in April, 23 and 6 in May. I mean, we were cooking along like a 750 winning percentage. And then we went 12 and 13 in June. And really, it's just hitting. So I don't know if you can hear my daughter upstairs. She's pretty upset about how this offense is performing. She's letting it be heard. She wants her voice heard on this video. So Soto has put up a 143 WRC plus. He's been very good. He's put up 5 WAR. Oh boy. Okay, had to call a timeout there. Baby was losing its mind upstairs. We can't have that coming through on the video. But again, she's upset about this offense. Soto has been good. 143 WRC plus. He's on pace for 5 WAR. His fielding is not amazing, but that's not why he's on the team. Another all-star level campaign. Like I've said before about Soto, is like he's not like God level Soto, MVP candidate. 5 WAR is not really even going to get you in the top 3 or 5 MVP discussion. Of course, if he got hot, if he went like all out Soto for the second half, he could be in that discussion. But yeah, he's been excellent though. He's been excellent. I don't mean to besmirch his name. Mike Anthony Valdez has been really good. 136 WRC plus, and he's walking 13% of the time. Now Harper Machado, man, honestly, like, what more can you ask for them, right? From them, they're 30. Harper's 37, almost 38. Machado will be 38 in this week, and they're he's league average at the bat and still above average overall. I mean, 2 WARs like an average major league player. He's on pace for 3.5 WAR and a 101 WRC plus at the age of 38. I'll take it. If Machado and Harper at 37, 38 can be league average players, that's more than enough from them. And we have enough other talent that they can be those players, and we can still be a good team. Danny San Miguel, the number 7 prospect in baseball, he hasn't really hit a stride yet, but he hasn't been bad. I'm letting him play it out. I think I think he's good enough to figure this out and to go on a tear here at some point. He's got a WRC plus of 96. He's been almost league average. So Nate Culbertson has just not been good enough. He had a 155 WRC plus last year's the DH. This year he's our first baseman with Randolph gone, and he's got just a 92 WRC plus. And some of that is his BABIP is down like 40 points, but he's striking out less, but he's also walking way less. He's on pace for just 14 home runs after hitting 29 last year, and in the year before, in just 578 plate appearances, he put up 19 home runs. He's been one of the bigger disappointments. 92 WRC plus is not a disaster, but we need way more from him. Way more. Pache, this is kind of what he is at this point in his career, right? He's a little below league average with the bat, but he's an above average player because he's got a Gold Glove caliber center field. Willie Adames, same thing. Not quite as good of a glove as Pache, but he's an above average player. He's an above average player because he has a great glove and a below average bat. So that's just kind of what Adames and Pache seem to be at this point, which I'll take in center and short. And we have enough other talent around us that should be fine. Now, Ethan Doss is kind of like a bench guy / pinch hitter / etc. And he's just murdered AAA pitching, but this is his second stint up at the club, number 23 prospect in baseball, 6th round pick from 2025. Second stint up where he just hasn't gotten it done. Last year with us, he had a 66 WRC plus while he put up a 186 in AAA. And he's got a 78 WRC plus so far this year and 108 plate appearances. Now, I'm thinking about sending him down because I've got other guys I can bring up who are performing well, but I've just been trying to be patient with him and give him a run because the team's still been succeeding. But now that the team's not succeeding as much, I got to make some changes here. Caleb Ford, Rookie of the Year, man, this has been one of the bigger issues. Last year he put up a 119 WRC plus and 4.4 WAR. This year he's put up a 71 WRC plus and he's on pace for 0.7 WAR. His BABIP is just 20 points lower, but he's striking out instead of 25.8% of the time, he's striking out 29.4%. Instead of walking 7.1, he's walking 6.5. He's been really bad. He's on pace for just 21 home runs and 33 doubles. Last year he had 34 home runs and 27 doubles. He's still playing a good second base, but we need him to be a solid hitter for us, and he hasn't been. Now, he's come on a little bit lately. The last 4 games, he's got a hit, 2 multi-hit games. But he's been a huge disappointment. Marco Pantoja, who is kind of like our utility infielder, first-round pick from 2025, was an amazing glove, just has not been able to figure it out yet with the bat. Just a 60 WRC plus. About out of patience with him at this point. Probably going to be sending him down for a guy who's got a better bat. Drew Romo, Ali Sanchez, they're good defensive catchers that are on the team for that reason. And we're not going to sweat their poor offensive performance, although it would be nice to get more from Romo. Really, I think, Ford is an issue, Culbertson is an issue, and Pantoja probably just needs to be optioned. Doss maybe as well. And so if we can get better from Culbertson, better from Ford, our offense would be fine. We'd be fine. Got a few pitching injuries. Aaron Nola went out on a rehab assignment because he was hurt early in the year and he ruptured his UCL. He's out until next May. That might kind of be the end of the line for him. He's got 1 year left on his deal, but it's disappointing to see his career kind of widen down like this with so many injuries. He missed most of 2028 with injuries, some of 2029, and now he's going to miss all of 2030. So, he won a bunch of Cy Youngs though, right? He won it in 23, 25, and then 25? Yeah, 23, 25, and then 27. 27 was last year. He's healthy. He won the Cy Young at age 33. And he just, his performance hasn't been bad. He's just been hurt since then. So Kyle Mott, who's been excellent in our bullpen, he's put up a 1.77 ERA and a 1.09 FIP in 20 innings. But he's out on a rehab assignment. He's just coming back from injury. And then Jalen Miller, a young pitcher we got from the Cubs, he had only thrown 13 2/3 inning for us. He's been down in the minors some too, but he's out with a partially torn labrum that I think he did riding a motorcycle or something ridiculous like that. So anyways, let's sort it by ERA plus. And again, 100 is a league average here. For every point better than league average is a percent better than the average. So Jacob Matan's ERA is 16% better than the league average. Joe Eaton's is 6% worse than the league average. FIP minus, same thing, except lower is good. So Taylor Hearn has an ERA plus of 278, a FIP minus of 80. So his ERA has been incredibly good. His FIP minus has been very good. And let me just go down the rotation, actually. Trevor Rogers, a beast. 3.4 WAR, 2.7 R WAR, 2.62 ERA, 2.70 FIP. Maybe he'll get his first Cy Young in the sim here since he's been robbed a couple times. Jacob Maton, solid. Not excellent, but solid. Not ace level. Carter Daniels has been phenomenal. 2.31 ERA, 3.34 FIP. On pace for 4.6 WAR and 7 R WAR. Will Karsten, excellent. 3.53 ERA, 3.42 FIP, on pace for 4.6 WAR. I did put Drew Gray in the rotation. I messed with a few different guys here. Gray has started 3 games for me, and he's been fine. He had an ERA of like 0.77 out of the bullpen, so I decided to give him another try. So Binderup's been awesome with his 1.96 ERA. Andy Bourne, young pitcher, has been good. Same thing with Shearing's been good. I mean, everybody here's been good. Eaton's gotten roughed up a little bit, but then Hearn. Melendez is my first-round pick from 2028, and he's already up, pitching out of the bullpen, got a 1.83 ERA. I did go out and trade for this guy because I was down so many righties with Mott, Miller, and Nola all out that I need more righties. So I went and I got James Marinan. I traded a minor league pitcher for him. And this guy has been pretty good. 1.14 ERA, 2.37 FIP so far out of the bullpen. He could also start if I needed him to. And then Josh Ward, last year's hero. He was in my rotation for a while, and he wasn't pitching as well. And given his fragile injury proneness, I decided to put him back in the role that he dominated in last year. So he's back out in the bullpen. He's got a 3.15 ERA. His FIP is 4.86. That was well up over 5 as a starter. So I don't really see the need to address pitching on this team. I do see the need to address the middle infield situation. Mott will come back up, by the way, at some point here after a few outings down there. So, Antonio Anderson is a guy who was up for us last year and was really good. Not really good. He had 105 WRC plus. He was solid. Our second-round pick from 2023. Still just 25. He's been bad in AAA this year. Mike Winter is another guy I could call up who is a fourth-round pick from 2025. He's hit well everywhere, but now he's not hitting in AAA yet this year, which is an 85 WRC plus. So I signed a couple guys. I signed Kevin Newman, a veteran, as middle infield depth. This is just to give me options here. I signed Bryce Terang as a veteran middle infield option. The guy I'd really like to call up, who is Shumei Shinoda, is out for another 2 weeks. He's hurt. He was hitting well, but he's been out since the end of May. So I would have called him up ready for Pantoja. Thinking about calling up Anderson now. Milam, I think I could call up for Doss. He's got a 131 WRC plus. He had a 106 WRC plus for me last year in 237 plate appearances. It's probably time just to bring him back up. His strikeouts concern me. 33% strikeout rate. But in the end, he was still an above-average hitter. So I think I'll probably call up Milam for Doss, because Doss, he's just annihilated AAA pitching last year. Just murdered AAA pitching. But he just hasn't gotten it done at the major league level yet. So I think possibly Milam and Anderson up for Doss and Pantoja are likely things that I'm going to do here. I think I'll also look around for some infield help. Not necessarily a starter to take over for Ford or Adames, but a guy who can come in and play a lot. Maybe play at each position multiple days per week. Or play at second base a bunch, and then Ford can kind of split time with him there and then split time with Adames at short. So Ford's the full-time player. And then a second baseman and Adames kind of get half-time. So I haven't looked at the trade block in several weeks. Ooh, look at Cody Bellinger out here. Man, Cody Bellinger's still good. Go out and get him to be my center fielder over Pache. That would be something. That would be something. Are the Dodgers not in it at all? Oh, the Dodgers are very much not in it. And he's a free agent. I mean, I don't really feel like center field is the area I need to go for, but if you can bring in one of the best hitters in the league, what do they want if I just say make this work now? Dude, they're just looking to get his salary out of town. It's funny how they have a bunch of really good players, a bunch of decent prospects, and then this one dude here who's a 26-year-old minor league catcher. Is this guy just having an incredible year? No, he's not. Oh, he's got really high catcher ability. Maybe they value that? That's weird. I don't know. I mean, I don't know if I want to disrupt the clubhouse like that. What's that mean? Pache is my fourth outfielder, and then Milam and Doss are both down. I mean, it's kind of hard to say no, don't bring in Cody Bellinger. I'm gonna sit on that one. I'm gonna think about that. That would be kind of cool. Then we got a bunch of infielders, but not really guys who are middle infielders, which is what I need. Austin Martin was one of the more appealing guys out here. He has not really turned into a superstar on this sim by any stretch of the imagination. I mean, his best season was 2.3 WAR and a 120 WRC plus. So he's another Oops, sorry about that. So he's another possibility. So Martin, yeah, is another possibility, but I mean, he doesn't scream like difference maker, you know. He could play fine second base, and you know, but there's a reason they signed him as a minor league free agent, because he was terrible last year in Oakland. The year before, he was below league average. You know, I don't know that he's the big difference maker. I feel like Antonio Anderson could come up and do what Martin would do. Jazz Chisholm, I mean, another guy who just hasn't been that good with the bat the last couple of years. He's in the minors right now. And, I mean, none of these guys. Can Nolan Gorman play anything other than third? I mean, he could, but he doesn't have the experience. He was decent last year. He's a free agent, but another guy who I don't think is moves the needle a ton. Arenado is pretty old at this point and pretty bad at the age of 39. Brian Anderson can really only play third base. Doesn't do much for me. Iglesias is a really good shortstop, but he's been worth negative 0.7 WAR. So yeah, I mean, I think kind of, you know, my plan would be to sit tight for a couple weeks and see what happens. You know, I think the most interesting thing right now would be to bring in Bellinger, honestly. And I could do a couple different things. I could play him in center field where he'd be excellent. I could also play him at first base. I don't care that he has a low rating there. So I could do a couple things. I could put him in center for Pache. And then Pache doesn't have experience playing anywhere else, but I could move Pache over to left and then move Soto to, or put Bellinger in left and move Soto to DH. And San Miguel then make him like a DH / first baseman who plays 4 days a week. So, you know, I don't know who he replaces. I guess he replaces Doss on the roster. Bellinger would. But, yeah, I don't know. I don't see, I think it makes sense to bring in a bat that good. I just wish he fit better. So he's got a -1 zone rating. How is Bryce's defense aging? He's still positive there. So, yeah, I think I would put Pache or Bellinger in left. Probably Bellinger, honestly. Even though he doesn't have the experience there, I think he'd get up to speed pretty quickly. Put Bellinger in left, DH Soto. San Miguel then becomes a first base DH backup where he could play play once or twice a week at each position, and then Soto could get into left field twice a week, and say Bellinger could play center twice a week. So, you know, spread that at bats around. So it's basically San Miguel and Pache losing playing time for the most part. You know, Soto would bounce between DH and left field. Bellinger would bounce between left and center and play 7 days a week. But then Pache and San Miguel would get several days off a week. San Miguel could also back up at first base. All this would also push Valdez back a little bit. He'd primarily get his time, I guess, second, third, some at DH and some at first. So, I mean, actually, probably San Miguel would lose the most playing time, which I think is fine. You know, we've given him 242 plate appearances. And that's one reason I do want to give it another couple weeks to kind of see what happens. But he hasn't busted out yet. So, yeah, I think what I'll do is give it a couple weeks, kind of see where I am around the 16th or maybe the 22nd. Maybe more interesting guys will come up on the trade block. And at that point, possibly make that move for Bellinger. You know, like I said, I didn't realize he was on the trade block until I started filming this and went there. I kind of did this all live without my plan in advance. So I'm going to have to think about it. But I think it makes a lot of sense to trade for him given what our needs are. Even if he doesn't perfectly fit our positional needs, he fits our offensive needs. So I'm going to skip ahead here and we'll formulate our plan. All right, so we're on July 29th, and I made a couple trades. It ended up being a tough decision. I did bring in Bellinger. I know that sounds absurd to say it was a tough decision, but man, July, like our offense went off. We're up to fourth in the NL in runs scored, and our two best hitters were Doss and San Miguel, the two guys who stood to lose playing time with Bellinger coming in. They both had WRC pluses in July of over 200, but Doss is now in the minor leagues. Hey man, when you can bring in Cody Bellinger, you just got to do it. It's kind of fun to, in the year 2030, have a team with a 35-year-old Bellinger, 37-year-old Manny and Bryce. 2021. Well, I shouldn't say 2021. This team would be stacked because Bellinger's bad this season. 2019, this team would be stacked. So, anyways, we got Bellinger, and I optioned Doss. Now, the one thing that I wasn't thrilled about is how left-handed it makes our team. So Pache goes to the bench. He's going to be our fourth outfielder, which, I mean, he's an above-average player. He's like a 3-win player over the course of 162 games, primarily on his glove. He'll play like once a week against righties. He'll play more against lefties. He'll be our defensive replacement too. It does weaken our bench because Doss was a really good bat bench for us, but Valdez is there, even though he's playing almost every day between all these different positions. Actually, I need to get him some left field time too. I'm skimping my man Valdez here. We start him like every 15th game there. Give him a couple more starts a month, and in right field as well. Every 15th game. There we go. Now we're cooking. So you can see the lineup that I am going with for now. It's so lefty heavy. This is against righties. Soto, Machado, Culbertson, Bellinger, Ford, Harper, San Miguel, Adames, Romo. And then against lefties, I have Culbertson on the bench playing every third day. Culbertson has just like a 44 WRC plus against lefties. Now, his BABIP is like 150 against them, so some of it's that. But I needed to get another righty bat in, and Harper's also bad against lefties, but I got to respect Bryce. Got to respect the veteran. Leave him in the lineup. I'm not going to put him on the bench. So against lefties, we're going Soto, Machado, Bellinger, Ford. Actually, no, what am I doing there? Soto, Machado, Bellinger, Valdez, San Miguel, Ford, Harper, Adames, Romo. Pache will play every fifth day in center and every fifth day in right to bring a righty in the lineup more often. Valdez and Bellinger will get a lot of time at DH. Culbertson will get a lot of time at first. Valdez will still move around the infield some. So, yeah, so this is the offense. I also made a trade for a pitcher. The reason being that Drew Gray, I could have given my fifth starter spot to any number of guys. Andy Bourne has been amazing out of the bullpen. So is Kyle Mott, James Moranen. Drew Gray struggled in the rotation, and I just decided that I wanted to keep the guys in the roles that they're succeeding in. So I brought in Brandon White, and I'll show you the Bellinger trade in a minute, what it ended up being, by the way. He was an all-star last year. My scout thinks he's a really good pitcher. You see, he's never really been like an ace. In the last 2 seasons, he's just kind of been like league average-ish. Seems like a solid, like maybe like a mediocre 2 or a solid number 3 starter. He's under contract for next year for $15.4 million. Player option. I'd imagine he might pick it up with how much he's struggled. I don't know. He could probably get more, I guess. So the Angels retained 80% of the deal, though. I gave them 2 pitchers they really wanted. Like, these 2 guys are up there with some of my higher prospects when I did make this work now. This guy is Jeff Schrant. So he's a 25-year-old that I had acquired in the 12th round of 2026 draft. Again, I know I said this 73 million times, but the back button in this year being different, just I will never get used to it. So Schrant was in Double-A, pitching well. He had a 3.44 ERA, a nice 4.20 FIP in 110 innings. And you can see OSA likes him even more than my scout. He's got good work ethic. This is a guy who'll probably be a major league starter for them, I'd imagine. Extreme fly ball worried me. I was more than willing to give him up. The other guy was Marcus Trammell. Trammell I had acquired in the 16th round of the 2027 draft. And he was, where was he? He was in high A, struggling a bit with a 5.97 ERA. The FIP was a bit better at 5.07. His issue is control. You can see his walks per 9 here, 5.8 this year. You know, if their scout My scout is actually a little higher on his current stuff. You can see, I mean, he's got a elite slider and 3 good pitches. If their scout thinks his potential for control is like a 35 or something, I totally see why they want him, because he could be a good starter if they can improve his control. So he's 24. They're taking a chance on his control. If he doesn't get that, if he doesn't improve that, he's never going to make the majors. But they obviously see something more there than my scout does. So Brandon White will go into the rotation. It doesn't really matter what spot he's in. We'll put him on the 85 pitch limit. And yeah, so Drew Gray will be back in the bullpen, where he was just much better for us. You can see his splits here. As a starter, he had a 6.2 ERA and a 6.08 FIP in 40 innings. As a reliever in 25 innings, a 0.71 ERA and a 2.85 FIP. So I could have tried some of those other guys, but I didn't. Now, to the minors went Kevin Melendez, who was our first-round pick from 2028 and was pitching great for us. He had a 1.47 ERA and a 2.67 FIP in 36 2/3 innings. This was just about depth. It was about experience. Melendez will be the first guy up if we have an injury, which, you can always plan on having injuries. So I think, I think this will be the team. Antonio Anderson hasn't done anything up. He's only had 39 plate appearances. He's got a 100 BABIP, but he's got a 23 WRC plus. He came up for Pantoja. We'll give him a little bit more time, but Pantoja at least has the glove, so I won't have too much more patience for Anderson. But so I think this will be the team. I thought about kind of looking around for a utility infielder to take, with a glove, but I think I'll probably do Pantoja. I've also got Shinoda coming back from injury, but I think this is the squad. So let me show you the Bellinger trade too. Man, he's just so good. A 162 WRC plus so far this year at age 35. Now the thing is, he's wrecked injury proneness. So there's some serious risk there. Pache is fragile. So I figure between the two of them, I'm hoping one of them is healthy for the postseason. Figured Doss might be back up at some point here with an injury. So we ended up, they ate how much of the deal? The Dodgers ate 70% of it. Now, that's only for this year. There's no future money on the books. And they got Danny Arambula, I like that better, who we picked in the 2025 draft, the 14th round. You can see my scout thinks he's okay. OSA's a little higher on him in some areas, maybe. But you can see he's just hit everywhere. Like, he was in rookie ball, and this was one of those things where the assistant GM is in charge, and I would have promoted him after this season, but he played 2 more seasons, continued to play well. He was league average in high A last year, and then he's in double A this year and hitting really well. He's got 2.2 WAR in 87 games with a 110 WRC plus. So scouting-wise, doesn't look amazing, but he's just hit everywhere. So, if he continues to hit that well, he'll be in the majors at some point. And then the other guy we gave up, I didn't want to give up that catcher with the 70 catcher ability, is Steve Janot. Janot was my 17th round pick in 2026. And you can see he's been one of those guys who the assistant GM has just kept in rookie ball, even though last year he pitched to a 1.55 ERA. So clearly he should be higher up in the system. His movement is obviously a concern. OSA is way higher on his control, 55 versus 45 than me. Other teams will not get scared off by a 30 movement. I do, especially in a home run park. So if you're okay with this movement, this is a guy who will pitch out of the bullpen, I'd imagine. I mean, best curveball in the majors, arguably, and an elite fastball with electric stuff. Average-ish control. They think it's above average. My scout thinks it's below average. Bad movement. But he's probably a major league reliever for them, I would imagine. He could be. And he was dominating rookie ball again. This guy should be like probably in, I don't know, double A Northeast. Yeah, he's still a... Wait, why does my scout... Oh, because I went from major... Okay, never mind. I confused myself there for a second. So yeah, this is a guy who should easily be in at least double A, maybe even triple A as a reliever. And he's a major league piece of them. So I think they got 2 possible major league pieces. Neither of them stars, but guys who are not yet on the 40-man, under team control for at least 6 more seasons. They got him for a rental for Bellinger. And I mean, because they were really limited where they could send Bellinger with his contract. So, so that's it. It's July 29th. Standings wise, we are 72 and 33. We're 9 games up on the Padres. So we have a couple days left in July, but we've gone 19 and 7 so far. our second best month. I will show you the first couple picks. I told you guys I was going to do that. Who I drafted this year. So this guy, Pat, let's go with Urias Tagi, yeah. Two-way player. Drafted him 32nd overall. He's 18. Looks like he's already got 3 pitches, so I was willing to go with him there. Hopefully he can mature there. He's got high intelligence. He's just 18, but you can see he's a really good hitter. I mean, he's probably a better hitter than pitching prospect, possibly. But he's a two-way player in rookie ball right now. And second round pick was this guy, Eli Keltner. Listed as a center fielder. He won't be center field, though. Looks like a decent college bet, though. Maybe not a ton of power. Pretty bad eye. OSA is way higher on him, but I think this is a decent guy, especially if he can improve. And then we also got Joe Sanchez. I don't remember why I got that second round second pick. Who left this year? Oh, Nate Culbertson. Right. One of these was a supplemental round pick for Culbertson. Was it that guy? Was it this guy? Yeah, well, anyways, one of these guys was the supplemental round pick for Culbertson. This is another corner outfielder who has a really good bat. So, yeah, we'll keep marching on here. We got Cody Bellinger in from the rival Dodgers. We've fortified our rotation. You know, I don't think I had to make either of those trades, but man, like if my hitting went cold again or if I had some injuries, I would have really regretted not making those trades. So we're going to keep on marching. We're going to try to win yet another World Series. We'll be back at the end of the season unless something comes up to update you on who we're facing going in the postseason, all that good stuff. As always, thank you guys for watching, and the next video will update you on the rest of the season. Bye.